Police say 18-year-old Trevor Heitman was driving his McLaren sports car.
A lot of skins have been removed from the game.
Kaliva Gwen? No. What? Seriously? No.
Did Emilio just get back banned?
Hold on, Clara, give me 1 second.
And we found this new site called CSGOLotto.
Scandals and controversies. Nothing in life is more entertaining and interesting than meticulously investigating the actions of others, then judging and shaming them for their wrongdoings. So today, we will be exploring one scandal from each year of Counter-Strike, beginning with CSGO in 2013 up until modern-day CS2. Despite how perfect Counter-Strike is, there is no shortage of cheating, scamming, deception, disappointment, and even crime taking place in its wholesome community. You know, at least the scandals we're known for involve cheating and fraud instead of what goes on with Minecraft YouTubers. But before we get into the video, a quick word from today's sponsor, myself. This video took 2 months to make, mostly because I just got lazy and stopped working on it for 3 weeks, so if you enjoyed, please subscribe so I can feel way more motivated in the future to actually upload. Is this your GOAT? Huh? Well, what if I told you Simple is no better than the random 25k ELO players spinbotting in your lobby? That's right, in 2013, Simple received an ESL ban for cheating in CSGO. Simple claimed that the ban on his account was from 1.6, but multiple individuals have gone through his ESL profile and found that there was never any links to 1.6, so the ban had to be for CSGO. Simple ended up attempting to circumvent this ESL ban by creating new accounts, which only got his ban extended until 2016. Despite his sketchy start, Simple would go on to become the greatest Counter-Strike player of his era and win 2 majors without needing cheats. I say that, but we can't prove that he didn't play every match with a vibrating butt plug in his ass that would warn him of enemy positions. On May 1st, 2014, Counter-Strike received the Hunt Begins update, which introduced the Huntsman case. Now, besides blessing us with the dick pattern Huntsman, this case also introduced 15 new weapon skins, one of which was the M4A4 Howling Dawn. And honestly, I have nothing but respect for artists Ozzy and Sick for creating such a beautiful skin. They must have spent countless hours picking the perfect colors for this weapon, as that's all the work they actually did. You see this wolf on the gun? You know, the one that is the focal point of the skin? Well, the skin creators did a silly little thing here and stole that artwork from another artist, committing a small crime known as copyright infringement.
The M4A4 Howl.
After this was discovered to be stolen artwork, on June 11, 2014, Valve went and removed the skin from the Huntsman case, making it no longer acquirable, gave it a new contraband rarity, changed its name to the M4A4 Howl, and completely remade the artwork for the skin. Little did Valve know they had actually just made one of Counter-Strike's most iconic skins, with the only contraband item in-game being the Howl, and the cheapest Howl today being around $5,000. On August 21st, 2014, I promise this story goes into 2015, iBuyPower faced against Netcode Guides in Season 5 of the CSGO Professional League. But despite iBuyPower being the heavy favorites to win this match, they somehow managed to lose 4-16. Poor guys, I wonder how they felt losing to such underdogs. Oh. See, it was immediately apparent that this loss was not accidental, unless somehow all of iBuyPower suffered from a stroke the night before. This is because the way that they were playing was not believable. Despite early calls for match fixing, it would not be until January of 2015 that concrete evidence would be released incriminating the members of iBuyPower. The first piece of evidence showed high volume bets on CSGO Lounge that bet against iBuyPower from 2 users, Cud and Dborn, who were confirmed to be connected to iBuyPower and bet on the team members' behalf. This evidence was later confirmed by Shazam, yes, the Valorant guy, who was advised to bet against iBuyPower by Casey Foster, the founder of netcodeguides.com. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, Dazed, the captain of iBuyPower, co-founded that website. And the final nail in the coffin came when Dborn's ex-girlfriend shared screenshots of Dborn admitting to iBuyPower intentionally throwing the match. Ah, the classic, all that drama with iBuyPower. They really did throw the match, lol. Pickup line. I actually use that one too all the time. It's like a water slide down there when girls hear I was involved in fraud. But with indisputable evidence of iBuyPower throwing, in late 2015, YouTubers Prosyndacite and Tmartn
We found this new site called CSGOLotto,
who were the sponsors of their videos to promote gambling to their young and impressionable audience. Now, if them chasing the bag at the expense of someone's mom's credit card was where the story ended, the only controversy here would be found between the gaps in Tmartn's lower teeth. But no, just take a good look at this clip.
All right, so I'm gonna open up my trade offers.
Notice anything? The genius himself, Tmartn, was literally logged into a CSGOLotto bot account without realizing. But oh boy, this evidence is nothing compared to what was found in a video by Honor the Call that was released on June 27, 2016. This man did a little bit of digging and found that CSGOLotto, the very site that was sponsoring Tmartn and Prosyndacite, was hosted in Florida, which was a little weird since Tmartn lived there. But maybe that's just a coincidence. The gambling website that they claim to have no correlation to besides a sponsorship publicly displayed that Trevor Martin, aka Tmartn, was the owner and that Castle Thomas, aka Prosyndacite, was the vice president. Oh, you know, just some casual fraud and false advertisement. Now, while this information being leaked was already a major scandal, it was Tmartn's apology video that really blew the scandal up.
Cooper, I have no idea how I'm gonna record this video, dude.
Bro starts the video with his dog to get all of the from viewers, and then proceeds to completely avoid taking accountability, and then shifts the blame to the literal children who gambled on his site because it said in the fine print that kids shouldn't gamble. See, this would matter if your audience was old enough to read Trevor. And while he became a meme and received more backlash than Bonnie Blue receives backshots, somehow the only repercussions that Tmartn and Syndicate faced was a big fat paycheck. The FTC did go after them, but these two somehow had Saul Goodman as their lawyer, who claimed that CSGOLotto was not a gambling site due to a loophole that allowed people to play on the site for free. Despite CSGOLotto being as obvious of a gambling website as Prosyndacite was a baby with fetal alcohol syndrome, the two got away with nothing more than a slap on the wrist. And while you may hope that at least both of their online careers died from this scandal, as of writing this script, they both just uploaded videos yesterday. In June of 2017, one of the greatest memes in all of Counter-Strike's history was born when streamer MissQGemini was caught blatantly cheating while live.
You know what's really sad? That sometimes, you know, because I'm female in Counter-Strike, people are like, you're cheating!
Now, this whole situation is really messed up because MissQGemini was actually falsely accused of cheating and received severe backlash for something she had no part in. It's really sad that people in the Counter-Strike community are so misogynistic that they immediately accused this female streamer of hacking when the truth was her friend Clara had actually installed cheats on her computer earlier that day.
Wait, what the fuck? Clara! Hold on, Clara, give me 1 second. Clara. She promised me she didn't use it on my PC. I'm fucking done. She was here today and I was watching her. Why the fuck is this on my computer right now?
Now, if we completely ignore the fact that she opened up the cheat menu, manually loaded up a cheat config, and had clearly visible wall hacks enabled, she's obviously innocent. And to the doubters who say, Clara isn't real, what are you going to tell me next? The Epstein files actually exist? Yeah, right. Okay, jokes aside, MissQGemini's reaction to being caught cheating was a slight scandal but a huge meme, with Clara becoming an infamous figure within the Counter-Strike community for how unbelievable of an excuse this was. But I don't know, maybe Clara is real and she goes around haunting the computers of low-skilled players by injecting cheats and forcing these people to rage toggle after only losing 2 rounds to anyone who knows what a spray pattern is and how to counter-strafe.
No, he's fucking cheating, dude. Oh no, I put it maximum. Legit A, dude. I put that shit on max.
Trevor Heitman, better known for his online alias Mcskillet, was one of the first major Counter-Strike skin-based content creators. In fact, he was the person who got me into Counter-Strike skin collecting when I was just around 14 years old, causing me to drain my mom's credit card more often than I would drain my balls at the time, which was probably at least twice a day. And with his online success, by 2018, Mcskillet had amassed an inventory worth over $100,000 and made millions from his business ventures in Counter-Strike gambling websites. And with all of this money, it was in December 2017 where he made a purchase that would completely alter the trajectory of his life, a McLaren. See, Mcskillet was trade banned in June of 2018 for his involvement in Counter-Strike gambling websites, but Sparkles, who personally knew Mcskillet, said that this was not the reason for what was to come. In reality, Mcskillet was only 18 years old at the time, had insane wealth that most people would never see in their lives, and was struggling with mental health. And on August 23, 2018, police were called on him for his mental instability and for being a danger to himself and others, but the cops that showed up to Mcskillet's house chose not to confront the teen due to lack of probable cause.
I won't go to prison to get him into a hospital when it's illegal for me to do so. I hear what you're saying and I'm not discrediting that, but we have to have something substantial because we're getting hearsay he's driving down fast down the wrong side of the road. yeah, it's wrong, but it's an infraction. It's not, and we didn't witness, you know, it's got to be something.
Despite Mcskillet's clear manic state at the time, nothing was done, and shortly after police left, Mcskillet left his house in his McLaren for the last time, driving at speeds over 100 miles per hour in the wrong lane, where he would then collide with mother and daughter Eileen and Ariana Pizarro, killing all three on impact. Not only did this completely shock the entire CS community, but an innocent mother and daughter sadly had to lose their lives due to untreated mental illness. If you took a time machine back to Counter-Strike's economy around 2014 to 2018, you would most likely cry knowing that you had the potential to be a multi-millionaire if you just invested all of your money into cases. Oh, and you would also find that keys were tradable. See, back in the day, most items would be listed for trade with a price that would look something like this, with a K at the end. No, this knife is not worth $100,000, it is actually worth 100 keys. Since keys were given a set price of $2.50 by Valve, they were the perfect stable currency that could be used for universal trading. But as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end because of money laundering and fraud. Or something like that. With keys being an essentially untraceable currency, they became the perfect source for criminals to liquidate illegal funds. And well, that's kind of a bad thing. So on October 28, 2019, Valve took action to combat fraud by making all keys acquired from this point onward no longer tradable. Since you can no longer trade them, they can't be a currency anymore. This update is controversial, not only for making keys no longer tradable, but it was the first step in completely killing Counter-Strike's trading scene. With there no longer being a standardized currency, and an eventual update that would place a trade and market hold on newly acquired skins for 7 days, Valve completely killed player-to-player skin trading. Nowadays, it is extremely rare for two traders to exchange items in their inventories, you know, the way trading was intended to work, as most people find it much simpler to just buy a skin from a third-party marketplace or the community market if they have a slight mental disability and do not know how to make good financial decisions. Nothing really happened in 2020. It was a pretty tame year for Counter-Strike and the whole world in general, so let's just move on. Okay, fine. COVID shut down events for literally everything you can imagine, so I won't discuss it because that's boring. Instead, I will talk about another contagious disease that took the lives of countless individuals in 2020. Valorant. Valorant officially released on June 2nd, 2020, and being a competitive first-person 5v5 shooter game, it is almost a direct clone of Counter-Strike. You know, minus the cartoon graphics, hero abilities, and the fact that NA teams are actually better than European teams here, the two games are pretty much identical. But with the launch of Valorant, there was fear that Counter-Strike would become the inferior 5v5 shooter and the game would die out. After all, the creators of Valorant were Riot Games, a massive gaming company that created the likes of League of Legends and is known to actually update their games. It seemed like the end for Counter-Strike when notable pros switched over to Valorant, such as Hiko, and, well, yeah, that's kind of it. All the CS pros who went over to Valorant were either washed or really had no opportunity in CS to begin with, so Valorant ended up finding its own community. And despite the two games being 5v5 shooters, there's a drastic difference in the player bases of each game due to how differently each game plays. But you know, despite our community being filled with racist, homophobic, and severely toxic individuals, at least we don't have to deal with two freaks having e-sex while you're trying to clutch a 1v3 for your promotion match.
Oh my god. You're distracting me.
Operation Riptide released on September 21st, 2021 and introduced 5 new collections, 4 new game modes, 5 new maps, new agent skins, new agent patches, and new stickers. Oh no, this was not controversial in 2021. In fact, people were very happy with the update. A little too happy, because little did they know they would never experience happiness like this again. See, the controversy lies in the fact that, as of recording this video, it is no longer 2021. In fact, it is October of 2025, and we still have not seen another operation since the release of Riptide. That's it. That's really just a controversy. I don't even want to get into it because it just hurts. I say the lack of an operation is on par with the feeling of losing a family member. In fact, I'd gladly sacrifice like a third cousin for a new operation. I mean, at this point, I think I'm more related to Miami Daryl with how much time I've seen him on my screen. With most of the community having given up hope for a future operation, I decided to take matters into my own hands and bring us what we wanted. Alright guys, let's give it like 4 months and you can just thank me for saving the game later. Now, I don't know what this says about the state of the M249 if it being bought in-game is a sign of controversy, but on February 19, 2022, Navi and Furia were facing off at IEM Katowice, where the weapon got to see the light of day after years of neglect. Amidst a very close game on map 1, Perfecto decided that he needed to secure Navi's victory with an M249. Except, instead of buying the weapon to use it, Perfecto bought the gun and immediately threw it down at CT spawn, picking up his inferior AK-47. So what? Why is this seemingly meaningless event a scandal? This is why. To the 1.1% of my audience who are Russian, you already know what is going on. For everyone else, you also probably know what's going on because it's kind of obvious. See, the M249 is as useful to Counter-Strike as a social life and happiness is to League of Legends players. It's useless. And in the world we live in where you can bet on legitimately anything, Counter-Strike matches had bets such as, will an M249 be purchased? With insane payouts due to how unlikely it is for such an event to occur. In this instance, the bettor placed a bet worth around $18 US, which he then turned into over $9,200 due to Perfecto merely purchasing the M249, profiting over 500 times his initial bet. Now, there is no confirmation on if Perfecto knew of this bet, knew the bettor, or intentionally bought the M249 for rigging this bet, but a lot of individuals in the community were upset and felt that Perfecto ruined the integrity of the game and intentionally rigged this bet. On September 27, 2023, after taking inspiration from the world-renowned game with unmatched success, Overwatch 2, Counter-Strike developers decided to release Counter-Strike 2, and it went wonderfully. Okay, yeah, Counter-Strike 2 was not received very well upon its release as there were a multitude of issues. Movement felt like you were paralyzed from the waist down, optimization was terrible, with even a Google Quantum computer struggling to maintain 240 frames per second, community server support was as present as my father, OnlyFans accounts at the time were posting more new content than Valve did with this release,
oh god, and then there's subtick.
And so many more issues. While Valve has been working on improving the CS2 experience, with some of the aforementioned complaints being dealt with, there are still many people who complain about the state of CS2 in the modern day, with many people stating that CSGO just felt like a much better game to play.
I would recommend anyone who's watching this to download CSGO and just go shoot one bot at a server. It feels so crisp, like you're gonna cry after.
Maniac was a notable figure in the Counter-Strike community as both an analyst and former professional player, most notably playing on Team Titan from 2014 to 2015. Now, if the goal of Counter-Strike was not to win rounds by planting and defusing bombs, but instead to harass women, Maniac would be the undisputed GOAT. That is because in 2024, Maniac stayed true to his name and did something quite maniacal, repeatedly grope, inappropriately touch, grind on, and grab a female journalist without her consent at a Counter-Strike after party in June. Once this information broke out in September, multiple women came out saying that Maniac was a sexual deviant towards them as well, with one instance of him asking a 17-year-old girl when she would turn 18 and later apologizing for being too horny. What a classy man. At least he was going to wait for her to turn 18 and then had the decency to apologize. And in response to all of this backlash, Maniac made a sincere apology, found a way to right his wrongdoings, found God, and continued his career as a CS2 analyst. Nah, I'm just joking. He blamed it on being too drunk, said it was all a silly mistake, then blatantly said no sexual assault took place. He also resigned from his role as an analyst, but in recent months has come back to the community with occasional live streams. He's really emphasizing the good times a little too much here. Yeah, he's definitely guilty.
大家好，至于现代 CS2 中发生的丑闻，我们唯一能说的就是中国的市场操纵。
In 2025, China has had communities of individuals target specific skins and stickers with the sole purpose of controlling the supply of said items, thus controlling their price. Many of these communities use WeChat groups.
You have low float, low supply. I like it. What's your WeChat?
And operate somewhat like a pyramid scheme. Users need to buy X amount of a certain skin that is being pumped to join the group, which ensures their loyalty and dwindles the item's supply even more. Once the item supply is largely in control by said community and its prices have skyrocketed, the skins begin being dumped and prices crash. Now, only a few members in the community actually get to capitalize on the dump as the prices of the skins are artificially inflated, so once the first few people, likely the leaders of the scheme, have dumped their skins, prices begin to stabilize and everyone left holding questions why they aren't rich yet. Now, this has had a severe negative impact on Counter-Strike's market, as in recent months, countless skins have seen unprecedented spikes in price, with many being older factory new skins. The most infamous example of a pumped and dumped item is a sticker, the evilgenius holo from Stockholm 2021, which was trading for only about $1.50 in July, only to skyrocket to over $450 in September, only to crash back down to its current price of $12. Because Valve hates me and wants to see me suffer by prolonging this video, as I was about to finish editing, a new update came out that completely overshadows the controversy of Chinese market manipulation. You can now trade up to knives. Now I won't talk about this for too long, as most of you have heard about this update more than you hear your wife moan while you sit in the corner of the room and watch. But to sum it up, all red prices go up, people panic sell knives, knife prices go down, people realize good knives are still rare, knife prices semi-recover. But honestly, it's still way too early on to know how this is going to impact the market long term. This update had a lot of split feedback from the community. Basically, if you owned a knife, you're upset you lost money, and if you didn't own a knife, you're happy you could buy one for cheaper. But in the end, Valve always wins. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye.